on the guest list, the cast of School Spirits.
Guys, I'm so excited to talk to you. This show is hooked me from the start. Peyton, first with you, what got you so excited to join on such a cool show?
They sent me the scripts initially and I immediately responded to it. And my twin brother was actually the one who had read them first and told me that I needed to be a part of this project in any way that I could. And he said, I haven't read, a series for this age group that's good and isn't cringy and so long that's relatable. Like, if I don't get this show, you should be a part of it. And it turned out, so once they sent the scripts to me, I actually was like, oh, wait, I'm interested in this. And then I had a meeting with Megan and Nate, who wrote it and created it, and Oliver Goldstick, the showrunner. And I immediately fell in love with them. They were just so vulnerable and honest. And they just told me their life story and their reason for creating the show and how much they had healed from watching supernatural shows growing up, supernatural mysteries. And I had as well. And I really resonated with that. That was like a lot of my adolescence. And so it was like a match immediately made.
That's so cool. Now, I've heard from other cast members that you guys did not get the scripts further than one episode at a time. Is that true for everybody except for Peyton, or did none of you guys get the scripts in advance?
We all didn't know what was going on.
Yeah.
I love that.
We were all walking around with our heads off.
Which helped me.
Yeah.
Nick, talk about that, because what I've been told is that everybody was guessing and that a lot of people were just way off base.
We were all completely wrong. I mean, none of us got it.
No one.
And we were all so certain too. That was the thing. Like, Milo was so sure that he had cracked the case, and he maybe he was the most wrong, but no. That was funny. Also, that it does help because we're unraveling the mystery as actors, as characters, all at once, and so it kind of ties in well.
Megan and Nate, the creators, told us each sort of like a little bit of information that our character would know, or what would help us kind of shape like tiny, like not important things almost. And so then if it got around that someone else knew something, they knew who leaked it.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that.
Because they were like, oh, you must have talked to Milo.
You talked to Milo.
It was always Milo.
That's really funny.
Yeah.
I love that. And Sarah, when you're going through it, is it that you get to the end of the script and you change your mind? Because that's kind of what happened to me throughout watching the show, and what a lot of people, they just constantly keeps you on your toes.
Again, getting one episode at a time, and we were all in a group chat being like, oh my God, I think it's you. I can't believe this happened. So of course we're all sort of guessing, and I found out some information. So I sort of knew some things without telling anyone.
Yeah, she kept a good secret.
I think we all got a different secret.
Yeah. Some of us kept it, some of us didn't. Yeah, yours had a lot more potential than our secrets.
Yep.
I love that.
So I felt special.
Oh, yeah, that's as you should. There are so many different young adult shows and movies, and they're all very different. Were there any that you saw or that you thought about and said, oh, I want to do something like this, or a character arc like this? Or on the opposite, I don't want to do something, like you said, Peyton, cringy.
Yeah, I think that was it. I think just making something a little where you don't have to force or push. It just feels sort of realistic to the energy that I feel like young people do have. Like and also just like how natural even everything looked. Just keeping everything kind of minimal and like natural. I appreciated that for a young adult show, because I think sometimes they can get super glamorized, and like even as far as like the sexual aspects, like I feel like there's a lot more innocence in high school than some of these shows like lead on. And I feel like I related to Maddie in like the sense that she's kind of like a behind and like a little awkward, and she like dies a virgin, and I feel like that is something that probably would have happened to me in high school.
It was very honest. I love that. Nick, talk about working with Peyton, because I mean, she's obviously been on 50 shows and movies now. I mean, so much experience. What does she bring, and what does she elevate to this cast?
Her professionalism. We've already talked about it.
Shocking.
I mean, like truly like and like a machine, like in a good way, like where it just is, because also, so she was on set every day, all day. I mean, like we really only would shoot like
we were just
half
like hanging
of the
out
time because half the world is alive, half the world's dead. But I mean, she's on every page. She would come so prepared. There was like one time where like she didn't know one line, And like she was like, I'm so sorry, and I was like, what? Like
Insane.
yeah,
Like actually insane.
But still would like hang out with us after and would go out on the weekends.
I have
and would,
no
like,
idea how she's a human.
Would be so social. And so I mean that really, and no complaining. Like I think it was really just, I mean it was really a master of watching like just how to be a professional on set and do the job and still be like a really nice, normal,
really
fun person.
Weird about
God,
really
guys.
weird. When we
I'm
met
so
her,
glad
we were
this
like,
is a
she's not
video.
gonna like us.
Yeah.
Which is crazy.
We
'cause
were
I thought the
so
same exact
scared
thing
of
about you
you.
guys. I thought the same
I know.
exact thing.
We were texting that you
Peyton
liked
wants
us.
to hang out.
Oh my
I was like,
god.
oh my god, do you think that they're gonna want to hang out?
When you
Like,
texted us, we went,
Yeah.
and then we texted each other. We're, oh my god, Peyton is texting us right now. Oh my god.
that is so crazy.
It was great. It was great to work
My
with.
social anxiety was like, they hate me.
Oh
And
no,
this
no,
is
no.
gonna-
We were like actually screaming
the
like through our
opposite, yeah.
apartments.
Yeah.
It was like this. Like, actually.
You guys are the greatest. That was so fun. Thanks so much. I appreciate it.
Thank
Congrats.
you.
We just-
Thanks so much. Rainbow, Spencer, it's such a joy to talk to you. Spencer, first question for you. What do you think makes School Spirits must-watch TV?
Well, I think that it takes a topic like the supernatural, which maybe has been touched on a couple times, and it kind of subverts the genre. It's very original. Any of the archetypes you may assume are completely different in this show. It's just a really original watch, and every episode it ramps up, consistent cliffhangers, and an excellent last few episodes.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah, Rainbow, talk about those cliffhangers because I loved watching the first few episodes and getting an inkling, oh, it's Spencer, it's somebody else or whoever. And how surprising of an ending are we going to expect?
I was shocked. I was surprised. And we were all there every day trying to figure it out as well. And we were still so pleasantly surprised. And I think the audience will be as well.
Oh, that's fun. Spencer, talk about working with Peyton List because she is such a juggernaut in 50 movies, TV shows, a lot of experience. What did she bring to this cast?
Well, first and foremost, she's the coolest person. Like genuinely such a nice person. But also, yeah, really, really talented, really professional. She brought a level of, I guess, prestige to the set that was awesome. And I think that our scenes turned out really well.
Rainbow, there are so many different shows and movies in the young adult genre. When you guys were crafting your characters, did you look at different shows or characters and say, ooh, I want to try to emulate this, or I definitely don't want to emulate that?
I think there's been so many high school cheerleader bully trope. I think is done all the time. So I think I wanted to do something completely different because deep down she is not that. She's definitely not the typical cheerleader. She has a lot going on, and I think I wanted to steer away from the trope.
Yeah, that's awesome. Spencer, how do you describe the plot of this show to people who haven't seen the trailers? Because describing it as, there's a young adult support group for the dead feels odd to me, but you tell me, what do you guys say?
I think the best way to do it would be to just go like first person. Like, well, what if you were to wake up and you were trapped inside of your high school, Split River High? You shout to your friends, they can't hear you. The only people that can hear you are the ghosts who you commiserate with. Thing is, they all know how they got there and you don't.
Oh my God, I love that. That was such a good one. Yeah, that was a really good sell.
I'm watching now.
Rainbow, you should start duplicating that whenever anybody asks. That was very good. Besides Peyton, who we've already mentioned, Rainbow, was there anybody on the cast that especially surprised you besides obviously the person sitting next to you?
No, everyone just so lovely. We became a big family. I think we hung out every single day, all the day, like every day, even the weekends as well. And I never got sick of anyone.
No, yeah.
Like how?
Yeah.
That's very good. And Spencer, obviously high school is hard for everybody. Hopefully not as hard as for the characters in this show. But for high school students out there, what is your advice to set them up for success? Any tips and tricks for high school kids?
Spencer's school survival guide. I guess, just to be yourself and not to, try and be anyone else. It's a tough 4 years, but it there's life after that, and yeah, just keep your head up. That's, I guess, my words of advice.
Great advice. Thank you, guys. Thank you, Spencer. Thank you, Rainbow, for your time. I appreciate it. How you guys doing? What an awesome show. Nate. Yeah, of course. Nate, I want to start with you. What do you think makes School Spirits must-watch TV?
Ooh, well, I don't think so. There's a lot of other shows like it. We really have an amalgam of a series. It is a mystery thriller, it's a supernatural story, and it's a teen drama. So I think that is something that makes it really unique. Plus, there's a lot of questions that are raised. There's a lot of sort of titillating, exciting mystery beats that we're hoping will really engage our audience.
Mm-hmm. Megan, talk about that mystery element, because what a lot of the cast was saying is that they had a group chat trying to figure out.
I can say that I think we're going to keep everybody on their toes through the whole season. There are a lot of fun twists and turns, and I think people are going to be very surprised, hopefully in a good way, where the journey we take you on through the season. But I do think it's a very, very fun road to follow. We had a lot of fun with the cast during production. They knew I was the easiest one to try to get info out of, so I had to stay away from. I couldn't be alone with anyone. But no, it's a really, really fun mystery. I think people are going to love it.
It's funny you say that, because Oliver, what the other cast was saying, that Milo was the easiest one to get info out of.
It's true. It's true.
You asked me if Milo is? I mean, I think that, they're always were guessing. And the idea is when you get to the end of an 8-episode arc, which this series is, you can look back. And then people hopefully might watch it again just to go, oh my gosh, why didn't I follow this thread? This was right in front of me, and yet I didn't. And that's what, like, we did this in Pretty Little Liars. They were called Easter eggs. But the idea is, how do you plant things on a license plate, on a prop, you know what I mean? And go, why didn't I see that? Of course, that makes sense. So that's part of the fun of this kind of show. I mean, aside from the character development, which is really what the meat and potatoes is, this is, again, we look at the story engine. Yes, there's a mystery here, but this is really a story about a disconnected young woman who thinks she doesn't want any connections and yet realizes she desperately needs them.
Oh, I love that. Very well said. Nate, talk about Peyton List, that young woman, because she's been in 50 shows and movies by now. I mean, such experience she's got to bring to this cast.
Peyton's amazing. Like, I don't know how to articulately explain to people that, like, Peyton List is such a gift, and she was such a gift to this production. She is a real actor, and I think that sometimes people who come up the way she has aren't taken as seriously necessarily right away, and people will realize when watching this that she's the real deal. Not only is she incredibly talented, she's an amazing collaborator and an unbelievably professional person. This was not an easy show for her. She's in almost every scene. We were doing big, like 10-page days sometimes, and Peyton never missed a line. She was always ready, and she amazed us every single take. So I feel so blessed to get to work with her and to know her as a person. She's unreal. She really, really is.
We made her run so much.
Oh, she got to work out. Yeah, she got to work out.
I don't know why we did that to her, but she never complained once. She's amazing.
It's the mark of a good actor.
Right?
Megan, there are so many great young adult TV shows, movies. Were there any other ones where you were like, ooh, I want to do something like this with the characters, the arcs, or I really want to avoid doing something like this?
I think that we drew from a lot of different kinds of shows and movies and a lot of YA content, because that's what we love. We, as consumers, can't get enough of it. But I think we really drew on inspiration from a lot of different genres. So our teen genres, the John Hughes films, wonderful shows like Freaks and Geeks, the more mystery style shows like Veronica Mars. I'm a huge Veronica Mars fan. The Rian Johnson film Brick. We wanted to draw in a lot of that fun mystery. We wanted to bring in these great teen archetypes, but then we wanted to subvert it. We wanted to make it our own. And I think that was a really fun and exciting part of the process, was saying, here are these traditional teenage characters. How can we make them our own? How can we make them interesting and keep people guessing? And how do they fit within this crazy mystery?
Yeah, I love that. And Oliver, if somebody hasn't seen the trailers, which are very enticing, how do you get people excited about this? Because when explaining this to my wife, I was like, so there's a young adult adult dead people support group. It just didn't sound very good.
You said too much. You hit the wrong thing first. Bury your lead. I would say, it's a really quirky, compelling mystery that, is about a young woman trying to figure out her own death. I mean, I've said it and people immediately go to Lovely Bones. And then I'll say, that's not the tone. And she's not that kind of victim with a capital V. It just isn't that kind of story. But what I will say to people, because they always assume, she's the mean girl or she's someone who was targeted. What's fascinating about this show is she's not. She's an outsider. She's someone who's got a lot of shame and a lot of walls up because she doesn't want people to see her so clearly because there's lots of layers she needs to hide. And I think that I tell people, this is an ensemble piece that is a really, really great YA mystery.
Very well said. Thank you guys so much. I appreciate your time. Congrats on an awesome show.
Thank you.
Thank you so nice
much.
to meet you.
Thank you.
Nice to meet you. Amazing. Christian and Kiara, it is such a thrill to talk to you guys. I love this show. It hooks you so quickly. Christian, what do you think makes School Spirits must-watch TV?
Must-watch TV show because it's going to ask you the deepest questions you can think of. It does not shy away from what I call the dirtiness of life. It's really messy. The things that the teenagers are going through are not at all, they're not really innocent. It's very dark, and I think that everyone on board, the actors, the writers, the directors, they just know that this is kind of a show that's going to cut straight into the meat of our existence. I mean, it's life and death. There's nothing funny about it, but there's also humor.
Yeah, that's a really good way to think of it. It's a very serious tone throughout this series. Kiara, talk about the twists and turns this show has, because it definitely keeps you on the edge of your seat a lot of the time.
Oh God, I mean, that was literally us while we were filming. So they didn't give us episodes ahead of time. So we sort of learned as we went, and we spent the 4 months trying to figure out who we thought it was. And so all the twists and turns, we were right there with you guys, what you guys are about to go through. We were trying to figure out who it was because they would have told us. And it was just something that's going to really keep you on your toes. And maybe the person you really think who it isn't. And maybe who you don't think it is. And it's like a maze.
I love that. Talk about that more, Christian. Was there anybody on the cast that got it right? Was there anybody that was just way off base? What was the guessing like?
The guessing at first, we were all very suspicious of each other. I would just, kind of wake up in the morning and on a Saturday, hey, Christian, do you want to go shopping? Hey, Nicole killed Maddie. Yo, dude, it's like 8 a.m. Like that kind of thing. But I will say that the natural arc of guessing just turns more and more bizarre. You think, I think one of my guesses was like aliens. Like anything could happen. And then I went up to the writer. I was like, okay, was a lizard in the grass and just went for her throat, and then she's just like somewhere hiding in a bush. They go, dude, just you're going the opposite direction here. Just
I thought she was like life or death, like in a cave somewhere, like bleeding out. So she was kind of there, kind of not. But yeah, they said no. So
I love this. Those are much more exaggerated than the guesses that I've had so far. So that's really
the educated guesses you've had.
Yeah, exactly. Kiara, who impressed you most on the cast? Because obviously Peyton List brings a lot of gravitas and experience, but all of you seem like such incredible actors.
Well, that's a tough question because I feel like everyone on here is really great. Like, I don't want to take away from anyone's performance because I think they all in their own right, like, brought out their characters to the best of their ability and in a really incredible way. I think for me, I'm going to say, I'll say Simon. Christian, a lot of my scenes were with him. So I got to see it firsthand and also on the monitor. And he's a very much like an actor's actor. Like, I don't even know how to describe that. He's just so artistic and so deep and so, I don't know, articulate in the way his artistry is. And it's just interesting to watch and just really entertaining, really.
That's very cool. And that's very sweet. Christian, there are obviously so many different movies and shows in the young adult genre. Was there anything that you guys tried to avoid? Like, I don't want to do a show or a character like that. Or, I really love and aspire to do something like what this show did.
Very much so. I think the most important priority for me was actually representing teenagers, because you have teen shows and I love teen shows, and that's what kind of got me through, my teenage childhood. But if you talk to a teenager in 2023, they're sharp, they're smart, they're very mature, and so you can't really play them like they're 17 years old. You play them as wannabe adults, and so I think that helps the show, because we're not playing to any archetype. We are playing to the future. We're playing to the modern age, these savvy kids who will talk back to a teacher and correct them and say, well, actually the Civil War was this, not that. Those are the kids who are alive today. So we got to play to that. I think people are going to see this.
I love that. Great answers, guys. Very eloquent. Thank you so much. Congrats on an awesome show.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Amazing. What's up, Milo? It's an honor to talk to you.
Oh, thank you so much for taking this time.
Of course, man. So first question, most important, what do you think makes School Spirits must-watch TV?
Oh, where to begin? Okay, something that I think is really cool about it is that it's told primarily from the perspective of the murder victim, which is cool and adds a whole other element. It explores all these themes that of like these universal struggles that we all kind of go through in high school, no matter what time you went to high school, whether it was the 60s, 80s, 90s, 2023, we all sort of go through the same thing, but we also have our differences. It's a freaking murder mystery with like where you get involved in the characters' personal lives, and there's teenage drama. And personally, like, I love murder mysteries. It's one of my favorite genres. I'm a huge puzzler, and I feel like murder mysteries are like a puzzle in a movie. Like you figure it out. It's my two favorite things put together. I never thought about it that way, but that's why I like it so much. And also Wally, my character, he's the most fun I've ever had playing a character. He's the most comfortable wardrobe I've ever had. He's so fun and lighthearted. And yeah, me being a part of the cast, tried to solve this murder mystery as we shot it and as we went on. I wasn't even close. So I really encourage people to watch and try to figure it out and see if they could beat me. But I think people are going to be super satisfied with the ending too. And there's just amazing sequences in this movie. And I feel like I'm talking way too long, but like I said, where to begin? I could go on forever.
No, I love it. You're answering pretty much all of my questions kind of in one go round, which is great. I will say that my 6-year-old daughter will be devastated to hear that this was more fun than playing Zed. Talk about the difference.
Whoa. I never said that. I'll say this. It wasn't more or less fun. I think these types of characters like Wally and Zed, where it's so much positivity and not very much to be anxious about. You get to do really fun things. Like in Zombies, I get to sing and dance a lot. In School Spirits, I don't know what I can spoil, but we get to do a lot of fun activities. And I think what I mean more so is like this type of character. In fact, I thought about Zed a lot when I was doing Wally. There's a lot of similar aspects between all three of us, if you will. And it's really just refreshing to be able to play a character like that, because for me as an actor, I try to fully immerse myself in the character. And there's a lot of times where I'm playing characters that are stressed out, anxious about something, maybe depressed in their own way. And I always kind of take a little bit of that with me home, because I've really tried to immerse myself in that character. So when it's done, it's not completely done. You still feel that emotion in your body. But coming to set and leaving set every day on School Spirits, I left with a smile on my face. I came with a smile on my face, and I was usually blasting 80s music in my AirPods. So.
That's awesome. Now, you were talking about comparing Zed to Wally. One is a zombie football player. Another is a dead football player. Was there any part of you that was like, am I being typecast here?
You said it perfectly. The industry has typecast me as dead football players. That is who I am. That's who I am. And that's who I'm going to be forever. But I have no problem doing it. It's super funny because those two characters are the characters that are like the most fun, and they're the most lighthearted, and I have such a great time playing them. Every project that I've done has something new that makes it so amazing. But yeah, it's a super weird coincidence that I am always playing a dead football player, and I have nothing more to say on that matter. I don't know if it's a sign of some sorts, but I don't know. Maybe I'm gonna be like Tom Brady in the afterlife or something. I have no idea.
There are worse things to have happen. But no, you do have a really different kind of role coming up with Prom Pact. What can you tell people about what to expect from that movie?
That's true. That's part of the reason I wanted to do Prom Pact, was because it was something totally different. I've never played like the goofy, sort of nerdy, if you will, character. Which is weird because I really identify as that character, and it's never the one that I'm going out for. I am a super nerdy person, I think. And I related to Ben in so many ways. And something that was great about Ben was like, I just had to like go back to high school and highlight all those like feelings of like worry and insecurity that I felt, that we all feel when we're in high school, and just not hide them. You know, like I feel like in high school, we all try to put on a cool face. But with Ben, it was a cool activity to explore what that feeling was. And for me as an actor, like something I really like to explore is the physicality between characters. And like, you'll notice in School Spirits, Wally's super laid back. He's always like playing with his hair, and Ben is always, you know, shoulders down, picking his nails. And that was just super fun for me to explore. But yeah, I'm always grateful to be able to step into a new person's shoes, and Ben's shoes were shoes I had never been in before. So
amazing. It's a joy to talk to you. My daughter will be very jealous that I got to talk to you and she didn't, but thank you very much for your time.
Tell her I say hello. I love you so much. And when you're older, watch School Spirits.
You're the greatest. Thanks, Milo. That's hysterical.